What is your question, Goddess?
Can you give me a little background on what is pure consciousness?
Pure consciousness is the void, the other side of what is described as point zero, or the universal mother mind of all. Faut, Kalum has been described as many things. Pure consciousness is beyond description in any vernacular, all right? But I'll try to give it to you as thought potential that's unlimited. That's what pure consciousness is. In other words, it's the real you. The thought behind the thought. Which is the real me, which is coming at you again from your past or your future, which is here, now, then, always, he, she, her, it, and they, right? It's everything and nothing, seen and unseen. Pure consciousness is the reservoir of thought. Again, if I ask you to look into the mirror, first let's try to describe what consciousness is before we get to pure consciousness. An example is, again, if you take a chimpanzee and you put her on the ground in front of a mirror, the monkey runs to the mirror and looks at the image in the mirror, and every time she moves this way, the mirror moves this way, so she gets frustrated and starts jumping up and down and howling, and pretty soon she starts getting combative and wants to fight the one that's copying her and annoying her, mimicking her in the mirror. And if she keep hitting the mirror, she can't get to it until she runs behind the mirror looking for this thing that's hiding back there. Her perceived antagonist. She's not conscious of the fact that that is her. The morning you come out and the monkey's sitting down on the ground in front of the mirror and she's picking fleas off herself, grooming herself in front of the mirror, then you can say she's become conscious of the fact that you get it. The one in the mirror is you. You're the image. That's consciousness, achieving consciousness. Now, what pure consciousness is when we elevate the image to a person like yourself, and you look in the mirror, and you automatically know that that's you, a reflection of you in the mirror, and you naturally comb your hair, etc. in the mirror. If I ask you, if you close your eyes, sister, with your mind's eye, can you still see yourself with your physical eyes closed with your mind's eye? What's your answer?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the one looking at you when your eyes are closed, that's not pure consciousness, but it's raising up in frequency to a God or a spirit or a watcher or etheric or another aspect of your being that's other than physical, because you can't see the physical image because your eyes are closed. Even if you look straight down at your hand with your eyes closed, it wouldn't be visible. So the one you see with your eyes closed is more of a spiritual image of yourself, of which the physical is a reflection of. Now, to take it to the next step, again, to reiterate this, you've had dreams where that you saw yourself reacting or interacting with somebody else, doing something with somebody in the dream, and you saw both of y'all in the dream, and you woke up and said, last night I saw us in a dream doing this and that or that and the other. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, again, why haven't you ever been able to look back at the one that was looking at y'all in the dream and point and say, there he or she is? What is the one that was looking?
That's in another dimension. You can't see. You really can't see you.
Well, because the real you is, you can't get formed to what's formless, because that's not just being conscious.
Oh, okay.
That's pure yeah, that's no image. That's where images come from. That's pure consciousness. That's the architect. That is the designer, the creator, that's projecting the image that you see with your eyes closed in a dream, and projecting the image that you see when your eyes are open looking in the mirror or down at your hand. Are you following me? So,
I got it.
If you have, for example, in antiquity, great architects and builders, they were holy men. Most of them were builders. Like me myself, I'm a carpenter. A lot of people don't know that about me. I'm a carpenter. Oh, that's one of my trades. And they were builders, such as Jesus of Nazareth. He was taught by his father Joseph, his stepfather, carpentry, the rudiments of carpentry, and how they would build that, as if they take, for example, if you want a doorway built, sister, then the architect would give the dimensions to the builder or the doer and say, this is going to be 7 feet by 7 feet, 3 feet across the top and 4 inches deep, when he gives him that, then he goes out and finds a 2x4 that's 2 inches thick, 4 inches wide, and he'll probably get a piece of lumber that's called lineal, which implies a straight line. It'll be about 20 feet tall, and you'll cut 2 6-foot or 7-foot sections out of it, a 3-foot section, and it'll automatically be 4 inches deep, and then he'll frame a doorway out of that from those dimensions, that from the design given to him by the architect. Now, when you're looking at it from the state of, or the perspective of pure consciousness, it's like feeding a program to a computer. The architect is feeding the builder or the carpenter the blueprint from the blueprint that's constructed in the mind of the architect.
Which is pure consciousness, the mental reservoir, or the programmer that programs the hologramic computer that is your brain, mathematically.
For example, Yahshua's father always taught him that he had accelerated to the level as a carpenter that he could look at a tree stump, for example, and look at it long enough and envision inside of it a chair or a bench or a hearth or whatever it was that was in there. If he stared at it long enough, he could see the potential in the wood, and he would just take a hammer and chisel and set the image free by chipping away everything that was excess until he freed the potential of the piece of wood that he saw in front of him.
Which is exactly what a spiritual guide does in helping you to remove the blockages that manifest in the form of personality or negative ego that separates you from your own divinity.
Now, in pure consciousness, coming from the void, the architect is the mind, and the computer that's being programmed by the architect is your brain. There have been instances now in technology where they create rooms and they have beams, laser beams intersect and cross one another at specific points. They engage to create a complete hologramic reality like the holodeck on a Star Trek inside of a room. They've done that. It's very expensive, so you still have to get on TWA to fly to Hawaii rather than have them reproduce it in a room, and you can step in on your lunch break and go, you know what I mean, skiing at Aspen and all of this, but it's extremely expensive to read. But that's what happens in your mind. The one that you can't see that's looking at you in the dream is this pure consciousness or this architect that creates the program, and it doesn't speak in language or words, it speaks in mathematics and mathematic language. Like with the lumber, it would be like energy pulses, the energy streams, like beep, 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 which would translate into like a 7-foot piece of lumber or a 3-inch piece of lumber, and it comes out in waves of energy and pulses of waves. When I say waves, and remember when you was a little girl and you drew water, the simplest one was a wavy line that indicated waves, so that when the waves are real wide and far apart, that means that it's vibrating slow. If they were closer together, that means that it was vibrating faster. And if you stretch it out, you made it longer or linear. So it's a difference in the rate of vibration between a 3-inch thought of energy and a 7-foot thought of energy. But the architect programs the creator with the blueprint, and the brain in turn translates the mathematic code into electrical impulses that creates signals that can be perceived on the physical plane by your receptors, such as your vision, hearing, seeing, and touching. That creates the illusion of what you call reality. Are you following what I'm saying? In other words, it's just like when you dial to pick me up on this class, you beep, 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 on your cell phone till you dial into a certain frequency, until you dialed into this reality, and then we were in the same room, as it were. So even if you're on a cell phone, you're really talking to the palm of your hand, but I can still hear you, but not because of satellites necessarily in the sky, but because I've dialed into your frequency, and we don't need even a cell phone because you've been cleaning up your house before, and you heard your daughter call you from California, and she wouldn't know where around. You called up and said, "I just heard you call me, remember? I heard your voice just as plain." Okay, so now you heard her, and it had nothing to do with cell phones or wires, because, and then she may say something like, "But I was thinking about you right then, Mama," you know that? So that she had dialed into your frequency. So when we're talking about pure consciousness, it's the void or the place that the thoughts are being created or generated from. And when they come through point zero, they manifest as lines of energy that comes in pulses or waves that are long and short, that create the framework by vibrating faster or slower of what the construct of what you call physical reality. Are you following me? So pure consciousness is unlimited thought with unlimited potential, but thought in itself has substance. A lot of people don't realize that. And the substance of thought is energy, and it vibrates or has a frequency to it. The way thought, the substance of thought is vibrational energy. Now, how do we know that thoughts are energy, have energy, and they vibrate? Because
one of the perceptible attributes of thought being expressed as energy, let's look at it this way.
We know that energy, one of the indicators of energy is heat. So that, sister, you have sit down on your couch again in an air-conditioned room and thought about something your child or your mate did to you that made you so mad until in that room it was so cool and 72 degrees, but you found the back of your neck hot and you started sweating in that cool room. Am I right? It just got that hot on the back. Just the thoughts started making you hot. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. So thoughts have energy, and they also vibrate. That's what creates the energy, is the friction or the vibration of it. How do we know that? You and I ride together, and I send you into an apartment to get something. Old ladies in there. It should take you maybe 30 minutes to complete it. You come out in 15 seconds. What's the matter with you? Makita, I had to come out of there. What's the matter? They said something wrong to you? No, they said everything right. Why they like the vibes, which is short for vibrations. You know, it was, how you doing, sweetie? He's so good. See, you heard what they said, but boo, you felt what they meant, didn't you? You could actually feel
vibration.
Yeah, you didn't like the vibe. You didn't like the vibes, and you didn't like it. You weren't comfortable there. You didn't like the vibes. So you could pick up that so what they were thinking was different than what they were saying. It was sweet words coming from hot mountains, wasn't it?
You could, in essence, feel their thoughts. They had actual substance, that which creates matter, to take it a step further. Right?
Yes, sir.
That's why not you, but we'll say people in here, like a lot of men will be surprised to know that women masturbate as much as them or more, but I'm just saying. A lot of times at night, you know, that secrets they don't know, like they don't think women poop. You know, the thing, how do y'all keep those secrets? The thing is this: when people have dreams and they making love to somebody and they have a nocturnal emission or achieve orgasm, and they wake up and the bed is empty, again, and then have sex with a person that's supposedly real and don't achieve an orgasm. My question is, again, is which one is real? The one you dreamed you were having sex with, or the one you had sex with for real? For real, supposed to be. We're using the word real. Which one was really real? That's right. You see, that's right. If it's real what you feel, right? That's what they say. They say, that's what you say. So what you do is you validate the reality of existence by your sensory organs such as feeling, smelling, tasting, and touching. Are you following me? Especially sight. So pure consciousness is the architect that creates the images in your imagination. What's the first word in imagination?
Image.
Exactly. So that with pure consciousness, again, if I asked you to think up an object that you never saw before in your memory here on Earth, you would more than likely look up and to the left, sister, and make sound something like right? Well, that's the Om vibration, and you vibrate, and if you put your hand on your larynx, on your throat, go like this, and then while you're holding your throat, you feel the vibration in your throat. What you're doing is you're looking up and to the left because you're creating or generating an image, and you're vibrating and is sending out waves of energy that the mind is creating the image to feed into the program. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. To feed into the program of which, or computer, which is your brain. And your brain interprets the program
and mathematical images, like paint by the colors when you were a child.
The pulses as images. In other words, it's not really out there. It's all going on inside your mind, the same way that your lover was inside your mind and you were in the bed by yourself. The same way that you saw you and your grandmother fishing and it was dark and both your eyes were closed, sister. Are you following me? But you knew it was you because you said, I saw us fishing last night together, Grandma. Remember? I did. You follow what I'm saying? So with pure consciousness, so pure consciousness is really you. You hear what I mean? We took a long walk on a short path, right? Yeah. Pure consciousness is really you. So you don't have any feet or arms or a body or anything like that. You're projecting that image out. If you're sitting in church and you see the man or woman's head in front of you, you think you see that, but it's actually just light that you're interpreting as an image by your computer or your mind that translates it into an image. Are you following what I'm saying? But it's only energy or light.
As so graciously taught all of us by the master teacher, Pamanzu.
When you see, some of you, a craft in the sky, a UFO, and you see a glow around the craft, that glow is a field of energy that's indicative of the fact that the craft is starting to slow down in vibration, and in the center of the glow, the craft may be metallic or might have a solid substance to it, but on the outer fringes it still has this gaseous glow because it's transforming from one plane down to another. In other words, there are layers to consciousness, like you at this level are capable of thinking in not just 3 dimensions, but 7 dimensions, but sometimes you can get confused with 3. But again, what I'm saying is that when you want to create something with you creating, all of reality is being generated by your mind. Even the bad ones by default, because you don't realize you're the creator of it. Even though in the dream with your eyes closed, you do realize that the one looking at you and your grandmother fishing is you, because you say, I saw us last night in my dream, so the I is you. When your child say, Mama, who you talking to? You laugh and say, you called me. I'm in here talking to myself. The myself being the physical form, or the thing that you see fishing with your grandma with your eyes closed or in the mirror with them open. But the I is not tangible, and you can't get formed what's formless, because it's creating or generating the image. Now, what's even more fascinating about that is that the one that you say is I, that's looking at you in the dream fishing with your grandmother, Makita, is the same one that's looking at me fishing with my grandmother in my dream. Did you hear what I said?
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a heavy one.
Yeah, and everybody else, because there's only one of them. That is alone, and that is not a we, that's a us, and there is no us without you. Spell us.
U.S.
There's no us without you. There's no us without you, Makita. No, because
okay.
That's right, there's no us without you, because
all that is could not and would not be all that is minus even you.
Another way to try to define this pure consciousness is by the master teacher Nichiren Freddy Atunway or Pamanzu, was to call it all. By definition, you can't add to it, because where would you get it from? And you can't take away, because where would you put it? Are you following me? So that
yes, I do.
When you really think about it, everything that exists now always did and always will. Anything that doesn't exist now never did or never will, and belongs permanently to the realm of non-existence, because a person can't even imagine non-existence.
An example given by the master teacher is that there's nobody in existence capable of thinking up even a new color or a new number. Try it. As the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun or above, let me add.
So that the fact that you exist, by virtue of the fact that you exist, mean that you always have and you always will. And if we were to take anything from all, it would no longer be all, it would just be part. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes.
So as far as you all are concerned, there's never any danger of you not being. John 8:32, know the truth, and the truth will make you free.
Existed, always will.
Yes. So in other words,
Again,
all that is, Makita, all that is, listen to me clearly, all that, I want to show you, not trying to make your head bigger, make you feel important, I'm just giving you a fact right now, okay? But all that is, could not and would not be all that is minus even you. Are you following me?
Wow. Yes.
So how long you going to be here? And how long have you been here?
Forever and ever.
Exactly. Exactly. So, pure consciousness, again, is the architect that generates or creates the thought that comes in the form of vibratory waves that forms the framework on this side of point zero for what we describe as reality that we think is out there, but is actually inside of you.
as the Bible says, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And it also states that God is in heaven. So where is God? And since he, she, it, the creator is all alone, nothing else or no one else except that entity, then who must you be? Right, the expression of source expressing itself. Or as the Bible said, God created man in his own image and in his own likeness. Or check your Bible, John 10, verses 30 through 36 of Psalms 82, verses 1 and 6.
Everything is happening inside of you because your mind is not inside of you like your brain contained within your quoting between your ears, but you are inside your mind. Are you following me? And I'm inside your mind, right?
Yes.
Okay. Haven't you ever told one of your children, stay away from that
Negative person. You letting them get in your mind, putting bad things in your head, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because if it's a negative person, then they're going to be getting in your head negatively. So you don't want that negative influence in your mind because it'll create a negative reality. How do we know that you're creating your own reality? Another example, again, is old people used to tell you when you was a little girl, you better quit saying that over and remember you used to say things over and over again as a child, and then some old grandmother, old grandfather tell you, say, you better stop saying that over and over. You're going to make that come true, right?
Right.
But you couldn't understand that, could you?
No, not at that time. No.
Yeah, but it happened enough to now you don't keep on saying things because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among men. The Logos, the Kilima, the Word, in the beginning was the Word. Say to it, kun fayakun, say to a thing, be, and it is. It's an indicator of imagination.
That's the stuff of God's.
You're thinking things up into creation.
Another word for faith is belief. And if you have enough faith to fill a mustard seed, you can make a mountain get up and walk.
And the repetition of the mantra of it. Now, when you want to create something to bring it onto this side of point zero, you, as an individual, you have to imagine it in your mind. If it's a brand new car or a suitcase full of money, you have to be very specific and vivid, sister.
Or fish and loaves. One day man will do greater things than I. And you innocents or forgetful beings have already fallen asleep. You fell from building pyramids all the way down to picking cotton, right?
You can't just say, I want a suitcase full of money. Got to be, I want $5.5 million, all in new hundreds. And then you have to be able to see yourself on the floor with the big suitcase open, counting the money, smelling it, ripping through it like a deck of cards, and counting, laying it out all over the floor on the carpet, and walking on it barefoot, playing it, throwing it up like Scrooge McDuck. You got to really get involved with this vision. Are you following what I'm saying? The reason I'm saying that is because if you interact with the vision, you have to be able to maintain this image in your mind for at least 64 seconds in order for it to be accepted by the architect to bring it on this side of point zero and bring it into the realm of what you call reality. The second point is that to keep it in your mind and interact with it is that you can't look at it like just picture it in your mind, because a picture by definition is two-dimensional. It has height and it has width. Am I right about that? No, you don't want, you see, and so there's no way that a three-dimensional existence reality can reproduce a two-dimensional image. Are you following me? So you keep picturing these things in your mind and they never come true here because you picture them in two dimensions and you want them to come into a three-dimensional reality and it doesn't translate. Are you following what I'm saying? So that when you want that car,
Pictures are two-dimensional.
yeah, when you want that car, you have to be able to walk up to that car, open the door, sit in it, turn the radio on, drive, roll down the window, watch the trees pass by, sing your favorite song on the radio, smell the seats. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's got to have depth. It got to have height, width, and depth. You follow what I'm saying? So you have to create a three-dimensional image, and you have to be able to maintain the image, and the way you maintain the image long enough is to interact with the image. Are you following me?
I got that one.
Okay, so now let's take but this very important question you asked. So what it is, again, is when you start thinking about consciousness, pure consciousness, that's the only thing that there really is, and that is also divine love.
Holy tablets. Everything else is mere illusion, howbeit a very persistent one. Albert Einstein.
So originally, all there was the one that you said, I saw me and you fishing last night, Grandma, that don't have no arms and legs, and it don't have no, it's just the center. That everything that projects thoughts out from it like dropping a rock in a pond and it ripple out in waves away from the point of impact, or the Big Bang,
or thought explosion.
I had an explosive thought, right? Just popped off in my mind, right? So that what it was is pure potential in the beginning, and there was no things at all, no light, no stars, not even darkness. You had to create nothing in order to have some place to put something. I want you to think about what I just said.
Say that again.
There wasn't even, you had to create nothing in order to have some place to put something. There was not even nothing.
Which on the subatomic part of the periodic chart is actually something without its atomic number. Since the first element classified as something is hydrogen, and it's hydrogen 1, so the number beneath 1 is 0, or nothing, right? Doesn't mean that nothing doesn't exist below hydrogen. It's just that it can't be classified as something because nothing is lower than 0 by our definition, such as ether or soul.
Wow, you thought you was wild when you couldn't see yourself. The one seeing you watching you fishing, when you found out you didn't have no arms and legs, that was a trip. Now you finding out that you was there before there was anything, and before there was even nothing, you were there. You still are, right?
And always will be. Let's examine this closely. You're created in the image and likeness of God. God has neither beginning nor end, right? Likeness. Child of God, it's time to grow up, wake up.
So, now that means...
I have a question, Brother Moon.
Wait, just a minute before, let me finish up this picture in your mind. So what you did is that you knew, because of the unlimited intellect, that you were omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent, you were all-powerful, all-knowing, all-wise, and had all these wonderful attributes. You were the creator, Al-Calico, you were Asamad, the independent, you were alone. You knew all these, you were divine love, Aish, you knew that, you were loving, you were patient, you were generous, you were kind, you were again, the Almighty. You see, you were Al-Aziz, you knew this conceptually, but not through experience, because you never had any opportunity to experience any of these attributes that you knew that you possessed. So what did you do? You contemplated that, sister. How long did you think about that? Longer than the age of the universes, time times the age of the universes. That means you was thinking about that a while. And what you ultimately concluded is that you would take certain aspects of your own mind and subdivide it up into 46 trillion created beings like characters in a story. Again, like when I say, you think of a story, you say, okay, I got Tom Sawyer and I got 15 men, women, and children, a drunken and a dog. I ask you, where did each one of them get their personality, their thoughts, their spirit, their animation, sense of humor, and their essence from? You say they got it from me out because I'm the author of the story. I say then on close introspection, in reality, do we have 15 different people, or do we have 15 different expressions of one mind because they're all really you? You say they're all really me because I wrote the story. So there are just 15 different expressions of one mind, so they 15 different men, women, and children. It's only you expressing your mind in 15 different ways. But there's only one you watching everybody that's fishing, all right? So you divided your subconscious mind into different characters, 46 trillion created beings, men, women, children, cherubs, angels, reptilians, butterflies, moths, trees, stars, suns, all these different things. And as soon as you created these characters in your story, you immediately erased the memory from every one of them and created what we call edocytes, or forgetful beings, so that they wouldn't, in essence, wake up in the castle knowing who and what they were, which would defeat the purpose in the beginning. Because what you were striving to do is to be able to see yourself from another perspective, to try to figure out who and what you really were, and to create programs that would allow you, through your characters, to experience situations where you had to exhibit the qualities of perseverance, intellect, wisdom, kindness, patience, all these attributes that you knew you had. One of the most beautiful tests that you designed for yourself is to give yourself the inherent ability to erase the memory of who and what you are from your character, and then find your way back to what you call God without any roadmaps, like birds find south without a map. That's why you in this class tonight is called Ask, and ye shall receive, seek and ye shall find, knock and the door will be open, ASK. So you're here, ASK, asking, seeking, and knocking tonight, because what you're really looking for is God. And when you reach up and pull the mask off the face of God, the beauty of it is, sister, that it's you. You getting a little happier?
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, it's you. You're the one that shot Tuesday and put Wednesday to bed. You're the cat's pajamas, right? So, now, the thing is, okay, I'm sorry, brother, what is your question before you forget?
Like he answering, but I got a question.
I'm just looking back to see if you're looking back to see if I'm looking back to see if you're looking.
Yes, what is your question? I'll do my best.
Okay, can you make it clear to everybody about the dimensional shift and the people that's going to actually shift, raise up in consciousness?
Yes.
Can you explain it clear in everybody's mind about, okay, are we still going to be here? Are we going to be on another actual dimension so we won't know, that aspect of it?
Yes, exactly. Very good. Exactly. I'm clear about your question, and believe it or not, you answered the question while you was asking it, but you didn't realize it, so I'm going to bring it. The one asking the question do better than one being asked, but I'm going to bring it to your attention so that you can see that you know the answer, right? Okay, so what it is the dimensional shift. It's not like a lot of people might imagine that we might be raptured necessarily to another place, because this architect, or this mind, this unlimited potential, this thought realm, this void, is capable of being programming your mind, that if you want to experience outer space, for example, it puts the program of a cosmos in there with stars and galaxies, etc., and then you experience that reality of UFOs and being there. It's all in your mind. Are you following what I'm saying? So when you start talking about a dimensional shift, even if you were wrapped in crafts, that would still be going on inside the mental reservoir, or inside of your mind. So everything is here and now. In other words, it's not the people fishing, it's the point that they're being spectated from. It's the center, or the impact of the rock, the center, all right? So the dimensional shift in reality will be a shift, like you said, in consciousness. A shift in consciousness. Now, why would those not making the shift, dimensional shift, be left back are left behind in what's described by many as hell, and those that make the dimensional shift raise up to heaven. And a biblical description of heaven as therein would be a city, and there would be no more hunger, no more dying, no more pain, for the former things will have passed away, and there will be a new heaven and a new earth. As does any of that sound familiar to you all?
Yeah.
All right. Now, again, when we look at the different aspects of you, my question is, are you a mental person, a etheric person, a physical person, a spiritual person, or a soulful person, or a conscious person? Which one are you?
All of them.
Okay, but which one are you identifying with as this is me? If your sister come to you and say, Terrell, who are you? You gonna point to this, myself, the physical body, say, this is me right here, you know me, fool, right?
Okay.
Or a child say, who are you talking to? I'm in here talking to myself, right? So you're indicating the physical form, not the I. Are you following me?
That you must once again make whole or single.
Are you with me, sir?
Right.
So you have to learn how the dimensional shift is shifting your consciousness from the character back up to the author. You're shifting your consciousness from believing you're the creation and remembering that you're the creator. Now, what do I mean by the word remembering? We're going to use this as a
Trip trigger.
inside your mind, right? If you were to take you as the all, that's either one of y'all, and then we separate you like a foot over here, arm over there, like Makita over there, Susie over here, Terry over here, me over here, Terrell over there. We separated ourselves up, into these different pieces. Dismember, somebody dismember a body like a serial killer dismember a body. Everybody with me so far? So that if you take it to the pathologist and they want to recreate the crime scene, they have to remember the body. You have to put the feet and legs back together to try to see who the person is. Are you following what I'm trying to say? Reconstruct the corpse. It's morbid, but is everybody following me? Hello?
I'm following you.
Okay, thank you. Please, thank you for responding. Okay, so the thing is this. So you've dismembered, you separated your one single consciousness up into different beings and different people, so that you have to remember it or put it all back together again to realize who and what you are. Is that you're not one of the 15 characters in Tom Sawyer. You're not Becky or Aunt Susie the dog, the Indian, or Tom or Huck. What you are is the creator of the story.
That's watching you and Grandma in the dream. That's also you and Grandma doing the watching.
But you can't be seen in the story as one of the characters to point that that's me right there. But what you can do is put certain emphasis on one of the characters in your story, and then you say to yourself, in this movie, I'm playing the part of Aunt Susie in this movie here, or I'm playing the part of Tom. So that what you've done is you put a certain a percentage of your character in the body, in the character of Susie or Ahmed or Makita or Terrell or Mike or Walt. Are you following what I'm saying? So the dimensional shift is the real self-realization of turning yourself inside out and realizing and looking at the perspective of who and what you are from the inside out instead of the outside in, or from the top down or instead of from the bottom up. From the aspect of realizing, Makita, that you're not the one that you see in the mirror or the hand you look down at, nor are you the one when it's dark and your eyes are closed that you see fishing with your grandmother. What you are is the one you say, I saw us, is the one that's looking, but you can't see it.
Again, because you can't give form to what's formless. The one that created the stars and the sun doesn't have any feet and arms. Please, let's not be ridiculous. Get these biblical images out of your mind. Michelangelo's reverse of the angel Michael. They're playing with your mind.
That's the real you. Now, a dimensional shift is, what heaven is, Terrell, is for you to realize that you're the source and that you don't have a form, that you're unlimited potential, you're pure consciousness, but you want to be, and that's divine, but you want to be transformed into what we call an Ilamuta Jazadat, or in English they call it an avatar. An avatar, look it up, Ilmutajazadeh or avatar, which simply translates divine incarnated into flesh.
Or what if I said to you, I was an example of the Word made flesh, now dwelling among men?
Right? Or God walking in the cool of the garden. So, wouldn't it be heaven if you, brother, if you, sister, right now realize from this point forward that you are the source, you are the creator that's creating everything, and there's nobody here but you, and you creating anything that you want, so that you creating whatever you think of when you get ready, but you can still maintain a physical form so that you can play a role in the character in the story you wrote, but this time you got control of what happens on the next page or the next day. Because the problem, what was wrong with your story previously is even though you playing a character in the story, only being conscious of yourself as a character, Enocyte, or forgetful being, not remembering, or putting together that all the characters are really the author, then the character had no control over what happened on the next page. Am I right?
That is, from a mortal perspective.
Can anybody hear me?
Reflect back on the biblical quotes I gave you. John 10, 30 through 36, Psalms 82, 1 and 6.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Right.
Right. But the author is the one that's writing the story, the only one that controls what happens on the next page or the next day, right? So that if you turn yourself inside out and you realize and you shift your consciousness to realm, I love it. Now, when you identify, turn yourself inside in your perspective of who and what you are, and realize that you're the author of the story, you're the creator of the story, or the architect, you're the place where the image is being projected from, then you can project any image you want to create, any storyline for any character that you choose to play, including, since you're the author, you drawing the character. If you want to make yourself a woman, you're going to be the most beautiful woman, the richest woman, or the smartest man, and the most powerful man. Whatever you're writing, believe me, when you're writing a story and you know you're in control of it, the next page is going to be a lot more fun than the pages you've been experiencing so far. Is everybody hearing me?
Yeah.
Yeah, because a whole lot of times them pages, some of them pages you experienced when you didn't know you was creating them wasn't heaven. You know what they was? It was HE double hockey sticks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So another word for God is control. Is everybody listening to me? To be in control of your destiny. So to become a divine incarnated in flesh or Ilmutajazadeh, to shift your consciousness from the belief that you're the creation to having faith in the fact that you're a creation, and to the factual fact or knowledge was the first word, and knowledge is to know that you're the creator. And then to still maintain the role as a character in your story. Don't dissolve the hologram necessarily, even though there's going to be some brothers and sisters here, and have been all throughout the ages, that once they realize who and what they are, that they're the source, you know what they do? They dissolve the image and they return to being Kalum, and they never want to incarnate in a physical form again. Are you following me? What do you think about them? What I think about them is that's what they want to do. Got it?
They obviously wasn't having that much fun at the party, right?
They don't ever want to be cold or step on a nail again, ever, not ever. They didn't want their feelings hurt not one more time. They don't want to feel fear or anger. They're not that happy about it. They didn't get off on it. You know what I'm talking about, you hear me? It ain't their thing. But some of y'all keep coming
I have
back.
a question, Brother Moon.
Yes.
It relates to what we're talking about, and what if I had an idea or a thought that I was positive of making it manifest, and knowing that I'm in control of these thoughts, what if it doesn't manifest?
Well,
Or it doesn't come to light?
Well, you just did, because the doubt is what blocked it right there, so you have to learn how to get out of your own way.
To keep your thoughts from sinking, Simon Peter.
Now, first off, let me teach you some exercises to try to get in touch with your star player, with pure consciousness, as the sister called it, or as most of us defined it as God or the Creator or Kalum, right? Again, is to take a candle, a simple candle, and in the dark for 1 hour every night, light the candle and stare at that blaze, straight at that blaze, and don't think about anything except looking at that blaze. looking at how it shifts and moves and changes colors, nothing but looking at that blaze on the tip of that candle for 1 hour. The reason is that I want you to disconnect from the matrix, from the illusion. And to do that, I would have to ask you to stop thinking, or stop sensing, or stop being aware of your surroundings. And the problem with asking a person to stop thinking is when you ask them that, they start thinking about that. That's how the mind works. So that we know it's not going to be possible, because there's so much sensory stimulus around you, for you to stop thinking. Only thing we can do is try to narrow your field of thought, just again like the scattered rays of the sun, warm and pervasive, make birds and butterflies grow. But when you restrict it and narrow it down through a magnifying glass, it becomes so intense it can burn through wood or stone, and your mind, your scattered thoughts, think about this and that, are weak just like that. So we want to narrow your focus and pinpoint it down to that blaze, and that leaves 99.9% of your consciousness free, pure. Are you following what I'm saying? Unobstructed. It's free from chatter or white noise. No more static. Because you're not thinking about anything except this tiny little blaze. And then it's easier for you to be quiet and be still and start listening to the voice of the Creator, and let the Creator talk to you and move forward and take control and take the wheel in your car, so you can stop feeling like a passenger in the backseat of your own car in life, watching life pass by and turning corners that you don't even like where you're going and where you've been, and you don't know who's driving, but you want to take the wheel now, don't you? So you have to get out the way of the illusion and allow your greater, by saying things like this all day. Repeat all day, I am my greater mind. Come forth, inner being in peace. I am my greater mind. I am my greater mind. Just keep saying that to yourself. And if you stand in the line at the supermarket, instead of humming, just, I am my greater mind. I am my greater mind. Remember what old folks say, if you keep saying that over and over, what's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
It's going to come true. I am my greater mind. I am the source. I am the creator. This is only illusion. This is not real. I am not this body. I am not this situation. I'm only watching this happen from above. I am not this body. I am not these circumstances. I am not this situation. I'm only watching this happen from above, so that you become the puppeteer instead of the puppet. Are you follow what I'm saying?
That book taken with us to Rudy, but I'm really trying to get a hold to it.
Now, Terrell, is that clear to you about the dimensional shift? And is that evidence to you that I was right when I said that the one asking the question knows better than the one being asked? You see, the fact of the matter is that the answer to everything is inside of each one of you all. You simply went to sleep and placed yourself under the spell of forgetfulness, but you did it on purpose. But you set a fail-safe to wake yourself up at a certain time. You didn't put yourself into this maze to be endlessly roaming on blindly in your contumacy, lost in a Las Vegas mind forever and ever, going around a tree till you turn to a pancake. You set a timer to wake yourself up at the end of time. Now, this is the end of time. This is the end of the illusion. The hologram is falling apart. What are your physical indicators of that? We know that the devil has been in control for 6,000 years. And his physical description, even though the original one was black, is the Amorite, Canaanite, or the white man. He's been ruling the world for 6,000 years. It's been his empire for 6,000 years. Now, anytime in 2008, you got 13 people up running for president, and even the white people, the majority of them, pick a black man out to be president instead of the other 12 white men and that one white woman, then you know they sick and tired of the image of the beast they self. And for the white folks that thought it was a fluke and he somehow tricked them and put them under a spell, and then happened again in 2012, now if anybody don't believe the devil's time is up, then they just dead from the neck up. If you try to tell me you can't see that there's a change in what you call the end of this world as we know it, not necessarily the earth, but that you can't see there's no climatic changes, if you think that when you start seeing buds on trees and what used to be the winter time and mosquitoes out, you know what I mean, and what's supposed to be the winter time. And when it starts getting so hot, you can fry egg on the sidewalk up north. I'm talking about that's too many storms, too many tsunamis, too many hurricanes. It's the white man that fell from power. I'm talking about, and you can feel the consciousness just moving forward in the earth itself. People that you talk to, you got some people here over 50 and 60 years old. They remember that when they were real young, people didn't know nothing. What we're talking about tonight, the things they're hearing now, that wasn't even out there nowhere. In books, it just didn't know, was nobody vibrating on that frequency. Now all of a sudden there's knowledge everywhere you go. People are woke, you know what I mean? They're starting to wake up. And you can say to a brother, sister, what's going on, God? And they're not repugnant, they're not shocked like they used to be, or you calling you a blasphemer and all that. They say nothing to it, what's up, God? You see, they're responding like manner to you now. You follow me? But just 30, 40 years ago, before Pamazul got here, for example, somebody called you God, you were insulted by that, and you was running for cover, scared that the lightning bolt was going to strike you. Yeah, things are changing, and it ain't just the weather, but you changing your mind. And remember, the things that you look at will never change until you change the way that you look at things. Now you starting to look at things from the top down and from the inside out instead of the bottom up and from outside in. So you changing the way that you look at things, so believe me, the things that you're looking at are beginning to change. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
Yeah, y'all have moved from the cotton field to the White House. They both white, but that's a different condition, right?
Right.
Now you the boss with the hot sauce, right?
Yeah.
Now we see all of a sudden in the Senate they picked up 10 or 12 seats and they were all women, right?
Yeah.
The state of New Hampshire, the whole governmental body of the state of New Hampshire, from the governor to the senators to the representatives, every elected official in the state of New Hampshire is what? Come on, y'all. A female, a woman. There is no man, listen, there's no man in the government of New Hampshire. But as it was in the beginning, what? So shall it be in the end. Women were always the gods. And they used to choose the Pharaoh on the throne. And we forgot that men come from women and that women don't come from men. They never did. And right now, can't nobody tell me there ain't no one man that a woman came from. Every man you know, if you be honest with yourself, came from a woman. Every man you know. And as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. If they come from women now, then they came from women then, right?
Yes, sir.
But when you got a white, male-dominated society, what is God going to look like if they the ones that's writing the books and painting the pictures and the author of the story?
And what is the subliminal root of the word author? Authority, like authorized King James Version 1611 AD. Authorized by who? There simply were no white people, no Canaanites in the geographical areas that the Bible describes, period. They just didn't exist, except as lepers.
He's going to be a bald-headed white man with a beard, right?
Yeah. Right, gonna look like them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right.
That's right.
And what is that's separating you from your own divinity, because they know you God, but they know that as a man or woman thinketh, so is she. They know that you're God and you're so powerful that anything you believe is true. So they got you believing that they God. So where does God reign? In heaven. And if they God and they in heaven and they white and you black, then where must you be? And who must you be?
In hell.
All right, then. So what y'all been creating for each other? See how quiet it get when the truth come around? I know you want to run outside and kick all the white people. You want to kick all the white people in the ass now, don't you? But you need to take your foot and kick your own self in the ass, because you made white people. They came from you too. You their parents too. Every day, what done changed? You look at the History Channel. Archaeologists and scientists all over the world have determined that the cradle of civilization is Africa. Artie, the oldest man, Lucy, by the bones of Lucy, millions of years old, they see Nubian, the black people's footprints right along and next to the footprints of dinosaurs. White people ain't been here for 6,000 years and 9,000 at the very most when you start talking about Halabian fluoroids, right? Y'all been here for millions and millions of years. Everybody know that.
I don't believe that the white man is God. I just believe in the word of God. That's not the word of God. It's the word of William Shakespeare. And the white man said 1 picture's worth 1,000 words. You didn't have those beliefs before you abducted, kidnapped, and brought into slavery 450 years ago. Well, my great-grandma, my great-great-great-grandfather, yeah, I understand. That was beat into him on a Bodie plantation. Wake up. What you going to be when you grow up? Faith and facts are two completely, totally different things.
Go on any computer, listen to any history channel, they're going to tell you that all civilization came, all people, everybody came from Africans, and then a black woman is the god of the planet. Everybody came from a black woman.
Check mitochondrial DNA.
And then women created men. Why did they do that? They created men in their image and likeness, because they wanted to have something. They were so intelligent, and women are still more intelligent and smarter than men right now. But they're smart enough not to let you know it, because your ego is so fragile, you want to beat her up and try to bully her because she's smarter than you. You see what I'm saying? So she agrees with a lot of things that you say when she know you're wrong, and she'll correct you and give you an idea and then make you think that you thought it up so you can feel smart, and she just walk away smiling, right? Because you're still doing what she wanted you to do. Y'all running around here talking about I'm hitting on this woman, I done caught her and caught. No, you didn't, nigga. She caught you. Women sleep with the men they want to sleep with. It ain't the other way around. You ain't playing her, boy. She playing you. Got it? Oh, it got quiet now. Change the program, Ahmed. Change the program. Go ahead.
This is Aziza. I'm a new listener invited by Makita.
Okay.
Does what we put in our bodies affect our consciousness, our ability?
Okay, I wouldn't. I love you. I'm glad you're here. Welcome home, sister. Now, what was that question? I didn't hear. It wasn't clear enough. Speak up, please.
Does what we put into our body affect our ability to connect with that pure consciousness?
We are what we
divine
eat.
Mind.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, when you eat a lot of meat, for example, the blood in the meat, you know, what it does is it lowers your vibrations and make you carnal and make you identify with the lower aspects of, you know, like the first 3 chakras. And you have 7 planes in your body of chakras. It makes you identify with the uterus and the male and the gonads, and the female and the gonads and the male, or with the earth seed, and you lay heavy like a lizard on the asphalt of life. Are you following what I'm saying? And in addition to that, most animals that you eat, they go through a process they call slaughter, and it's violent and cruel and vicious, and the animal dies tragically and in fear and in rage and with all these negative emotions, and then that's translated into you from the food. And when people eat these pigs and different things, they start sweating on the nose and cussing and fighting and raising all kind of hell and getting heart attacks and getting sick, because that's the animal's revenge for murdering it and then eating it. Are you following me? In other words, gods don't eat nothing that have parents, sister. You hear what I'm saying? They eat fruit and vegetables and things like that. They don't eat things that look back at them. You got what I'm saying? Now, also, you got to watch out for cheese and white bread. They've started putting a lot of blood in these other products to disguise it so you don't know it, because they're trying to keep you vibrating on a lower level just like them. But you're right about that. You need to increase your daily intake of water. Get good water, sister. Good water, and put a teaspoon or half a teaspoon of baking soda in it to alkalize your system, and start eating a lot more vegetables and fruit, and then you'll go a long way in transforming yourself back into the God that you once were. Are you hearing me?
Sister Aziza, that means the mighty in Arabic, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Very good question, and I'm glad you're home. And you sure they cut it close, because you're cutting close, because December 21st is right here. And for you, Makita, remember that whenever you save a soul, it's the same as if you save the entire human race. Of course, if you destroy one soul, it's also the same as if you destroy the entire human race, because we're all one, right? That's why Yahshua, Jesus, and them said, when you see me, you see the Father, or do unto your brother and your sister as you would unto yourself, because they knew that they were you and you were them. Are you following me? And he knew that he was God, but he also knew that you were God. For the new sister, he said in 2 John 10 verses 30 to 36, speaking to the Jews in the first person, he said, I and my Father are one. The Jews took up stones again to stone stone him. He said, many good works have I shewed you for my Father. For which of those works do ye stone me? They said, for a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, because that thou being a man, makest thyself God. Jesus answered them, is it not written in your law, I said ye are gods? And if ye call them gods, unto whom the word of God came, and the scriptures cannot be broken. On Psalms 82, verse 1 and 6, God, capital G singular, standeth in the congregation of the mighty, he judgeth amongst the gods. Verse 6, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. And all the prophets and prophetesses, that's right, Mary, Fatima, and Ruth, they were all prophetesses, right? They were all black. If you go to Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5 and 6, look not upon me, for I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, the tents of Kedar, look not upon me, for I am black, for the sun is shone upon me. The scripture of Jesus in the book of Revelation, hair of a lamb's wool, eyes of many fire, his feet shone from under his robe with the color of fine brass, as if they had been burned in the furnace. Job 30:30, my skin is black upon me. Jeremiah 8:21, for the hurt of the daughters of my people, am I black? Am I black? They said that Adam was made of solid clay, of black mud, fashioned in the shape. So yes, we the gods and goddesses of this planet, and he who was last will be first. We fell all the way from building pyramids to picking cotton, but we done went back from white cotton to the White House.
In a very short period of time.
Yes, that's right. There's really no time for you because you God. Next question, I'll do my best.
Okay, so then why is it, you got to be ready by December 22nd, 2012.
Dimensional shift date, December 21st, 2012.
Or whatever, you got to be ready by this certain date, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, the reason why is because understand that Gaia, or Mother Earth, that you walk on, that you're also part of that. Are you following me? And it too, she is a living organism. How do you know? Because she gives birth, just like any other woman, in spring, to flowers and grass and plants and trees, right? Right? See? So it's a living organism. And the mountains are her bones, and the rivers are her veins, and the rivers and streams and tributaries are veins in her blood. And when she revolves on the axis, she sings me, I, me, me, I, me. She resonates and sings. So it's alive. And it also has algorithms of biorhythms. So the earth itself is not just physical, it's also spiritual and mental and conscious, and has these shadowy layers of itself. In other words, if I ask every man and woman here, are you physical or spiritual? And they're going to say, if they think about it, I'm both. Because you know that if you're sitting in a chair and you look around the room you're in right now with your physical eyes, you can see the walls and floors and ceiling, but your vision is restricted to that. You can't see past it. But if you close your physical eyes, you can use your mind's eye, your inner eye, and you can see the front of your house from inside. Again, or the first time you rode your bike around the corner without falling down, how proud you were. And it's not just memory, because you've had dreams, and a week later something played out, and the person next to you told you, I saw this in my dream a week ago, so you can't remember the future. So the all-seeing eye at the top of the pyramid with the nasal cavity can see all things, past, present, inside, and out. You were always God.
And the dimensional shift is consciousness that should bring you back in tune with that reality.
Are you following me? So it's not about 2012, except that you're having a cosmic, you've been identifying with the character in the story as I am Terrell. The time for the character is running out, and you can't be diminished or cut out of all. You will always be a part of all, but you can be left behind on the physical earth when times get beyond repair. Well, they have wars and rumors of wars, brothers and sisters against brothers and sisters, and plagues and all these things on earth. You could be left behind on that earth, where money, the bottom is dropping out the market, and money is going to be worthless, and people are going to be starving and cannibalizing people up and down the street and all this here. You can be a part of that earth. Or you can raise up in dimension, in a dimensional shift, and start vibrating as your spiritual self. Go to Malakut, or the spiritual plane, and identify with the inner being as this is me. Why is that important? Again, when you had that soldier in Vietnam that stepped on that Claymore mine, he blew his right leg off up to the knee. They sent him home. He was sitting in a wheelchair with a blanket over his leg, and in a dark living room with the drapes pulled, and he told his wife, baby, it's getting ready to rain. She said, how you know? He said, because the corn on my right foot is hurting. And she looked at him with a tear in her smile and said, baby, you lost your leg in the war. You don't have no right leg or right foot. He said, but my corn still hurt. Look up Krillian photography. It blew his physical leg off. Did it blow off his spiritual leg? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so when was the last time your spirit got sleepy or hungry? When your body and brain shut down and you go to sleep at night, don't you still see things and you active in your dreams? Somebody woke while you sleep and can see while you sleep, am I right?
Right.
Okay, so the question would be, as if you transformed or shifted dimensionally up like the planet Earth into a spiritual vibration, then you would be on out of the reach of death or hunger, and for the former things will have passed away for you, and you would now belong to a new heaven and a new earth, right? You would be on the same planet, but in a different world. But those left behind will still be down here vibrating on that same old frequency. All of y'all know brothers and sisters from your past life when y'all was growing up. And sometimes y'all would run with them and do negative things. Drink wine with them and sexual escapades and break out on people's window and laugh and run and smoke cigarettes and smoke more than that. Y'all would do a lot of different things. But the thing is that they say you or she know better than me or he know better than me. You do the same. Y'all was brushing wings as angels on the sidewalk. Thing is like two ships passing in the night. You were spiraling up and they were spiraling down. Because you can go right back to that same city, to that same neighborhood. And that brother and sister, they got gray right now. They got some wrinkles and they got a lot older. But guess what? They ain't changed. They're doing the same damn thing they was doing the last time you saw them 20 years ago. If I'm lying, somebody stop me tonight.
You're not lying.
They ain't moved. They are not shifting, Terrell. They are not making a dimensional shift. They ain't getting left behind. They vibrate on the same frequency. They are not raising up in consciousness at all. Just as dumb as a rock on the wrong side of the ignorant pole.
And even more dangerous than that is to think that you've been educated by the Canaanite so that you already know. And you can't teach a person that figures they already know anything at all. They're really blocked out.
A whole lot of y'all holding on to things like, listen to me, a whole lot of y'all holding on to things like anger and different things because some of you women have had bad love affairs and met a devilish man. A lot of you brothers are running to these negative women, and you got your heart broken and you're emotionally scarred, and you can't get, some of your friends can't stand to be around you because all you do is talk about Pete or Wilma, and they get sick and tired of that. You living in the past talking about them. Let me tell you, you got to let go and let God. You have to learn about resolution. You're holding on to the past. It's making you hold on to this lower frequency, this lower negative vibration. Let me tell y'all a quick story. I told a couple of people about three Buddhist monks were walking down the path one day for spiritual enlightenment on their pilgrimage. And they came upon a brackish stream of water that was very wide and dirty. And they saw a woman there at the edge of the water, and she was crying her eyes out. And one of those Buddhist monks asked that woman, said, "Why are you crying so?" And she said, "Because I can't get to the other side." And out of compassion, that monk bent down and picked her up and put her on his back and carried that woman across that brackish, dirty water to the other side and set her down on dry land as soon as they got over there, and then Randy caught up with his friends and kept on walking. You hear me? Now, 2 whole hours later, you know how silent monks are. They never said nothing, but one of the monks broke his silence and turned to the one that carried the woman across the water. 2 hours later, he asked her, "Now, why did you stop and carry that woman across that water? You know we don't do that." And that monk just started laughing and asked him the question. He said, "Listen to me. I put that woman down 2 hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" Yeah, a lot of y'all can identify with that, right? Why y'all still carrying them people? Why are you still carrying them people?
Well, yes.
You better put them down.
That's right.
Yeah, stop carrying them people now.
Yeah.
Brother Almon, I have a question.
I'll do my best.
I don't know if it's on the script, on the plane of the dream plane, right?
Yes.
When we're dreaming. I find myself a lot of times that actually we don't hear with our ears, but we hear a lot of things with our mind.
Yeah, we hear everything with our mind, right? We hear everything with our mind. Because your mind, but you have, let me say, that what connects you to the matrix, Dow, what happens is that you're connecting yourself to the matrix or the illusion through your sensory organs that's basically located on your face, your nose, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, see, feel, taste, smell, and your skin is a great sensory organ for touch. But it's basically located in your face because when you see things, it makes you believe. If you see it, you believe it. If you smell it, taste it, or hear it, it makes you think that it's valid or fixity or that is real. Are you following what I'm saying? Now, the way that it's interpreted the way it's interpreted as sound is that, in the physical aspect, again, is if you stoop down next to the edge of a table, put your ear next to the edge of a flat top table, and then, like a tub that's full of water up to the very top, if you jump in, it's going to splash over on the floor. You got what we call molecules and atoms all through the air, and it's solid all through the atmosphere. So if you slam a big encyclopedia down on the table right next to a person's ear as hard as you can, all the atoms and molecules that were in that space previously will be displaced by that book, and the faster you slam the book down, the faster they're going to rush out that spot. And when they do, like little balls, you got a membrane in your head going brrrr. It's going to hit that membrane and create a vibration that you're going to translate as sound. And if they slam it down hard enough, you're going to say, ooh, that hurt my ear. Because the molecules are hitting your ear so hard. And what you're looking at, like lights, it's got photons. When they come from a light bulb you see in the ceiling, if it comes down, you turn the intensity, the wattage up so bright that the photons start firing so hard, that light is too bright, that's hurting my eyes. The photons are firing too hard, and they're hitting your retina, just brrr, too hard. Are you following me? But all of this is being interpreted by your mind, because there is no light, there is no ear, there is no physical body. The reason why when you walk down the street now, and then you kick a rock or a stone by accident and hurt your toe, and you say, now Ahmed told me that wasn't no such thing as no rock, why do I feel it? And because your toe and the rock is vibrating at the same frequency. Are you following what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I know that.
Okay, see, that's the point. It's just about frequencies. But it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind, like that woman you making love to at night in the bed, and you wake up after having an orgasm and realize there's nothing in the bed but you and a pillow.
Mm-hmm.
So where is sex happening? Is sex happening outside or inside?
It's in your mind.
That's where everything is, right. If you're running from a bad person in your dream, and they try to catch you, and the faster you run, you look like your feet in mud, you slow up, because when you reach light speed, 186,272 miles per second, nobody can exceed the speed of thought, so you start slowing down in your dream, and you can't run no faster. Everybody know what I'm talking about, right? So what happens is that you get so scared that you wake up out of the dream, and your eyes is bulging, your veins all in your forehead, and you popping sweat and breathing hard, and your heart is beating, thumping out your chest like a rabbit, and all that.
Like your dearly departed father, the great godfather of soul, James Brown, Darrell. You wake up in a cold sweat.
Listen, if it was just a dream and your mind, it really being projected from your mind to your body, then you'd have woke up dry just dreaming you were sweating. But if you get an orgasm, yeah, it's coming from your mind, yeah.
Whether you sleep or perceived woke.
Yeah.
Yeah, because see, when you wake up in the room sweating, and out of breath, and ain't nobody in the room but you, right? So whoever you scared of, it was in your mind, right?
That's right.
Right.
But that realization doesn't diminish the fear.
I'm saying
that question because the sister had I said the reason why I asked you that question because when we were at the sister was trying to explain to the sister about the physical existence.
yes. Yeah, I know you've been reading that Wisdom of Tahuti. That's what's happening right there. And everybody that don't have the Wisdom of Tahuti better order that book before I run out of them, because you will not be able to get them again. And that's the key to it. I'm telling you right now, that's not a thing that you should have. It's a master tool that you have to have, the Wisdom of Tahuti. So if you don't have it, you better try to get it.
And of course, all the actual facts, and don't miss one patarat in these last days. Now let's throw a little bit more light in blind corners in regards to the dimensional shift of raising your consciousness.
Right. And don't watch television shows where they're operating and they're taking out this woman's kidney and they're doing it in graphic detail and you cringing every time, let the scalpel touch it and the blood shoot out and the flesh fall on it. You know what I mean? You follow me? Don't look at that. Don't look at pictures where they have a lot of violence and too much much lustful, unnecessary, unemotional sex that's unattached, where people have feelings for one another. Sex is a beautiful thing when it's appropriate, you know what I mean? But I'm just talking about this violent, lustful sex, or this random violence where, they blowing up people's heads and they getting thrown through windshields and people getting caught on fire and all. Don't look at that, right? Now, that's half of it. The other half of it is to start controlling what it is that you think and minding your mind for the jewels of your soul by making a conscious effort to always be around positive and uplifting, informative, upbeat brothers and sisters that have a clear agenda about what they want in life and are very successful already in their endeavor, okay? And always tune into the kind of programs like nature and what do you call that, about the birds and the animals, or science projects and all the, all the positive things. Stay away from the news and start tuning into positive things and creating a positive mental environment that you're going to feed a healthy train of thought, induce healthy thoughts into your mind, and then you'll be minding your mind for the jewels of your soul. And then as a result of that, you're going to find yourself feeling good all the time. And that'll be the barometer that indicates the kind of reality that you create for yourself. And all of your tomorrows will be heaven. Are you following me?
Brother Moon, an older lady today told me sin is in the land, right?
Say what now?
I had an older lady today, the lady that watches my children when I work, told me that sin is in the land.
That sin is in the land? What, that sin is in it?
No, sin is in the land, like sin exists in the land. I have a 2-year-old.
Oh, sin is S-I-N is in the land. Okay.
Yes, it's in the land. I have a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old little girl and a 2-year-old boy. And I want to instill these values in them now, so, that they don't have to relearn anything. I want to put it in them now. Do you have any advice? Or?
Yes, I do. And what you do is that the thoughts that you want, you program, they're being programmed anyway. They're being programmed by the environment, by the people around them, by their peers, by the radio, TV, the conversations they hear you have on the telephone. They're being programmed by the television and everything in their environment. Are you following me? So what you do is you watch you monitor what they look at on TV, and then you get a lot of DVDs that generate the thoughts that you want to put in them. And when you talk to them, don't talk about boo-boo and gaga. Use real words, intellectual words. You understand what I mean, right? And talk to them like they're supreme beings, right? And you always have, most important is every night you get you a CD player that rotates and plays continuously, and then you put intellectual, stimulating, and very highly concentrated spiritual material and meditating material that's uplifting and giving them good spiritual guidance and telling their gods, etc., like that, and have that playing all night long. Are you following me? Gently while they sleep. All right? Very good. All right, I love you all, and good night.